again, you have the editor taking over as director, which we had when Peter Hunt, who edited pretty much all the Sean Connery movies, then directs On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And what's so interesting about this movie is it has so much in common with On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah.
So much. Surface level stuff like, playing in the snow, the skiing, the bobsledding, and all that. A showdown on a beach with cars driving on that beach.
Yeah.
With like the girl in the windy dress blowing around. And then in their own way, they both die via windshield. A raid on a mountain stronghold with the mortal enemy of Bond's enemy, Draco and Blofeld. And then here you have Columbo versus Kristatos, where Draco and Columbo are kind of bad guys themselves. They're like bad good guys.
Mark-Ange Draco, head of the Union Courts, one of the biggest crime syndicates in Europe.
The biggest.
I smuggle gold, diamond, cigarettes, pistachio nuts, but no heroin.
He's still a criminal, but he's a good guy, same as Draco. You have the Teresa connection in the opening, with Blofeld, almost like it's a direct sequel to Secret Service.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I looked it up real quick. So he edited On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which could explain why he makes a lot of the choices he does in this film.
Wait. Did he watch Secret Service and he said, someday, Peter, I don't want to keep doing all these fast edits that you love, okay? Someday I'm going to take over directing and I'm going to make a better movie than On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which sucks, bro.
And then he also does The Spy Who Loved Me, and he did Moonraker.
Okay, wait, hang on. If he did Moonraker, do you think it was John Glen who did Double Take Pigeon?
Yeah.
Do you think that was his idea?
Maybe. He was like, this movie sucks. It needs Double Take Pigeon.
Cubby saw Double Take Pigeon. He was like, promotion for this guy, dude. That was hilarious.
Director.
Keep it in there. Yeah, but I actually like John Glenn's directing in this one, particularly because it is, even the style and look of this movie just looks more like a
more grounded of a spy drama.
It's a more grown-up, serious take on Bond. It's not as, like, it's funny, like, a lot of people give Roger Moore a lot of slack for being the goofy Bond, but this movie is very light on that.
I think Moore is great as Bond in this movie.
Yeah, he
does a great job.
For me, this is his second best movie. Like,
yeah,
after The Spy Who Loved Me, this is his second best.
Like, no doubt that his approach to the character then informs what we collectively call the goofiness. But that's the odd thing about it. Like, did they kind of shape it around his approach or vice versa? Like this weird chicken and the egg thing, because it's not like Bond himself is goofy. Bond is, like Roger Moore, he does get a lot of shit, but Roger Moore's so awesome. He's so awesome.
Well, I hope you have a car.
They did mention right in the writing that they wish they had Sean Connery to bring back the realism. Because again, like this movie's whole focus was to let's bring it back down to earth, like literally and metaphorically. Let's bring everything back down to earth. Let's go back to basics. Like we went too far. We need to settle down, guys. Let's go back to From Russia with Love, essentially.
And there's some great sequences in this movie. You've got the keel hauling, the being dragged behind the boat, the mountain climb and raid, that warehouse raid along with Locke's death, which is just awesome.
The olive tree car chase, I think that's pretty good.
That was really cool.
The helicopter fright, as Blofeld put it, the death of Melina's parents, and all of those things all service the story. Yeah. Right? Like I've always said, I like the big stakes movies, but I really enjoy and love the smaller stakes. Because with this one, again, it's not like with the Lecter, it was like, okay, who cares if they get the Lecter? Like, too bad for them. With this, the ATAC is at least like, well, they could use this thing to use our own submarines to fire on our cities. So that's pretty significant. But all the same, it's not the whole ticking clock to then the world's going to explode or whatever. Or everybody's going to be doomed to fish for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
I like the grounded stuff. So the movie's definitely trying to push that smaller, more subtle, more interesting spy story. But all the same, it feels as if they still have those producers in their ear that's like, but audiences are expecting another zany assassin.
The hockey assassins. It's a scene that does feel out of place in the movie.
As the movies keep going on, you have to, like I think you said it before, McCurdy, it's like you either have to reinvent yourself or you have to push the envelope. But with this, it's like, well, we don't want to keep pushing the envelope to where we have gondola stuff again. But at the same time, audiences, they're expecting that. So we kind of need to put that stuff in there.
I'll say this, though. One of the things I read was that, like, at this point, Wilson had said, like, the Michael G. Wilson, the executive producer, and he's going to go on to basically produce these movies, basically. But he does point out that, like, at this point in time, the outline for this movie would have been Broccoli and Wilson and Richard Baybaum, who wrote this movie, so he's back to it in the writing chair, which you can kind of feel that because Baybaum wrote all of the early Bond films, and the stunt coordinators. Like, I can't address that enough. The stunt coordinators were also involved in this movie, and that also happens today with movies like Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise sits in a room with some stunt guys, and they're like, "What would be cool? What should we do? Should we do a plane? Like, should we do something where you're hanging off a plane? Should we do like?" And they start thinking of all these crazy stunts that they could do to make the movie enjoyable for the audience. They'd create an outline, then they would hand it off to the writer to basically turn into the movie, which you kind of see. I mean, it is kind of by committee, but at the same time, it's like it definitely has Baybaum's, because I think he was the best of the Bond writers for sure. Like, I think he's better than Mankiewicz. I mean, he has definitely better than Ronald Dahl and Christopher Wood. So I think he definitely had a good amount of why this movie is good in there. Because, I mean, yeah, the stakes, everything's real.
You can't pronounce a single one of their names correctly, but I don't want to correct you because
Baybaum is not how you correctly pronounce his name?
Every time it sounds like Baybaum and Ronald Dahl. It just, you correct me up, you George W. Bush motherfucker.
Ronald Dahl, whatever.